Hey, welcome to Not Your Normal Channel, where we systematically rank a new Disney movie every week. My obsession with all things Disney is just one reason why I'm not normal. If you have ever wondered what the best Disney movie is, this channel is for you. Let's be not normal together. Today we're ranking and reviewing Bambi, the last film of the Golden Age. Let's get to it! Storyline. There is something strange about these Golden Age films. They all have extremely simple and yet gruesomely dark storylines. Come back next week for more on that. But for now, Bambi is a simple movie. This coming-of-age story might be the simplest of all the Golden Age. Bambi is born, learns about the world, experiences some massive trauma, matures off-screen, finds a woman, and has children of his own. The interesting thing is that, for all its simplicity, it feels complex. Unlike Snow White, which was firmly rooted in a fairy tale world, Bambi is firmly rooted in reality. Sure, the animals talk, but they are not fully anthropomorphized. Previously, we have seen Honest John, who is the fox equivalent of a human, and Dumbo, who is the elephant's emotional equivalent of human experience. But Bambi is the opposite. He is the human equivalent of an animal. Bambi acts as our avatar, that we might understand the world from an animal's viewpoint. We experience the world as him, and that creative change causes this story to go from simple filler to simple world building. Sure, the world building is not vast, but it frames a familiar world through new eyes. The storyline of Bambi is fascinating to me, even though it looks on paper like it would be horribly boring. It can be enjoyed on several levels, and I was surprised to find out how much I liked it. It does, however, have a bit of an issue with tone. I mean, Bambi's mom is shot, and the very next scene, there is no time to grapple with the realities of death. Instead, death is alluded to, and just as it begins to sink in, we change the subject to a happy and carefree time. This is a side effect of a culture that I think probably did not want to consider death and destruction while looming on the edge of World War II. It is an easy story, and that will probably not be helpful to it eventually, but it does deal with complex themes within that simple story structure, and it isn't as side-questy as Pinocchio is, so I rank it as the best storyline so far. Music. The score to this movie is much more thematic in nature than most Disney movies. There are specific themes that play when certain repeating elements are happening. There is a score for danger, a score for love, and a score for learning. This gives the impression of the cycle of life repeating. Each year, these animals deal with the same harsh circumstances. It seems as though this music is very Fantasia-like, and it clearly had a lot of thought put into it. It takes Disney animation to a whole new level of musical artistry. I love the orchestrations, but do not love the songs themselves, as they offer very little in the way of development for the story. They also are very clearly dated to the 1940s. This dichotomy puts it below Snow White for memorability, but above Fantasia for artistry. Animation. This is one of the most beautiful films Disney Animation has created, and I thoroughly enjoy each viewing. From the beginning, watching this movie is like stepping into a painting. The animators decided to make the backgrounds with watercolors because those backgrounds had become too detailed for the foreground animation. This causes the characters to blend with the background much better, and causes the movie to take a step forward in animation style, in my opinion. Multiplane use in this movie is rampant, and we all know that means I immediately love this style of film. It really is beautiful, and the animated illusion of this forest is spectacularly deep. This is a much more subtle and nuanced performance from Disney animators than that of Dumbo or Snow White, and I like that. These characters have emotion and have fears, but they are more realistic in their portrayal of that emotion. It is obvious that the animators took care and paid attention to detail in creating this immersive world. Bambi receives number 1 in animation. Character. As a result of these characters being avatars for humans, the storyline is complex, but character development is not. These characters stick to traditional roles, but that may have been needed to help this audience feel connected to the characters. An audience who was only just introduced to film a couple years prior would want to see characters who act along the lines of least resistance for their current society. This way, the majority of people relate with or insert themselves into the characters. Bambi is a child and is therefore much more traditionally effeminate. In fact, all of these child characters are wildly effeminate to the point of discomfort.
He can call me a flower if he wants to.
Does he have a crush on Bambi?
I don't mind.
Each child is raised by their mother, while father figures watch from far away. This matches the norm for the time, as the ideal family, women stayed home with their children, and fathers worked to provide for their family and asked that their children be away playing quietly in the back room when they returned home.
We fathers have a little time to watch our kids and play with them.
Fathers had very little stake in raising their children, until they were older.
I cannot take care of him all of the time.
I will care for him when he is older.
Speaking of Into the Woods, I really need to analyze that musical. Bambi's father is usually silent and gruff on the rare occasion he speaks. He is the traditional male. He raises his child well for a rough adulthood. When Bambi is going to die from fire, all Bambi's father can say is, "Get up! Get up!" Which annoys me most heartily. A simple, "You are going to die from fire, please get up," would suffice. At least then I would know why you were yelling at me. But this reaction from a male role model would have been considered normal for this time period. This was the stereotypical way the man and his responsibilities were perceived. Bambi's relationship with his mother is also one of pragmatism. Her goal is to teach him to survive. He only becomes a man after his mother is shot, and his father takes over his life lessons. I am surprised to see such effeminate depictions of young male animals, though. And after watching Flower, I'm convinced LeFou is not Disney's first LGBTQ character.
Gosh.
Just saying, these characters are stereotypical, but still fleshed out. So, Bambi is given number 1 for character development. Technology. Multiplane, 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 multiplane. And these snowflakes are made of cornflakes. Ingenious! Because of its high amount of multiplane use and its near perfection of using it, and its ability to use cornflakes so effectively, Bambi receives second place for technology. I have discovered that I am severely weighting the averages toward older movies recently, so there has been a very small change to my rating system. That will affect Fantasia and Dumbo, which have gone up and down a slot respectively. Dumbo is now in last place. So, that is sad for Dumbo fans. We'll see what happens from here. And, averaged together, Bambi becomes the number 1 movie for this week. Hey YouTube, this was the last movie of Disney's Golden Age. What did you think, and what did you learn about this era of Disney movies? Leave a comment below. Subscribe and hit that bell so you don't miss a moment of this journey to the ultimate Disney movie. Check out last week's video here. And a playlist of all of my videos here. Also, watch for next week's video, which will be a recap of the Golden Age movies. See you again soon!